Hello and welcome to the final part of the project management course. In this part, I will share with you my personal insights about successful project management. My first insight is that not all assignments are projects, and that different types of assignments require different management methods, as shown on the diagram. My second insight is that in every project there are activities which are not new to us, as well as there are uncertainties which we cannot eliminate. As a result, when we do project management, we have also to perform activities required to effectively manage project risks, project strategy, and processes. My third insight is that not all projects are alike, and selection of correct project management approach enables to execute projects safer, easier, better, faster, and cheaper. Projects can be divided into 4 types based on the level of uncertainty around project scope and technology to be used to deliver that scope. 2 most common types of projects are construction and design projects. Project management methods to be used to manage those types of projects are known as waterfall and agile. Waterfall methods assume that effective project plan can be created and then efficiently executed, while agile methods assume that project objectives can be effectively and efficiently achieved through iterative elaboration and delivery of project scope. From my personal experience, critical chain project management is the best method to manage construction type projects, while Scrum is the most popular framework to manage design type projects. When you are doing initiation of your project, make sure you have chosen the right method to manage the project, because it will have dramatic effects on success of your project. My fourth insight is that there are 4 key success factors when it comes to successful project delivery. Those are quality of project execution, management, governance, as well as some pure luck. In other words, in addition to luck, successful project requires capable and committed project team, capable and committed project manager, as well as project sponsor. Project owner or project sponsor is accountable for success of his project and should hire the best possible project manager. On the other side, project manager is responsible, not accountable, but responsible for success of his project and should build the winning project team which will deliver the project scope. My fifth insight is that projects do not fail because of our plans. Projects fail because of materialized risks. In other words, the essence of project management is management of 2 things, project plan and project risks. Plan is a list of events which we expect to become to be true. Risks are events which we are not expecting to happen or become true. The essence of risk management is to prepare, in other words, to timely identify and treat risks as well as build resilience, to detect materialized risks early, and effectively respond to those materialized risks. And as it's written at the bottom, we cannot predict the future, but we can create it by imagining it and making effective actions. This includes not only our planned actions, but also risk management actions. My 6th insight is about what project managers are expected to do. In one sentence, they should bring order to house, or they should bring productive order to the project and maintain it. To do that, project managers should manage project stakeholders and risks from the start to the end of the project, as well as to ensure proper project initiation, planning, execution, control, and closure. Next insight is about how to become a competent project manager. As written in the formula above, competence is capability to deliver, and it has 3 parts: knowledge, skill, and authority. Most valuable part is skill. Knowledge is worthless today. Google knows everything and gives it for free. Knowledge is an asset. it has cost. It takes time for you to get that knowledge. And on the negative side, it also depreciates very fast. In other words, becomes obsolete. When it comes to best method to build your skill, I would suggest to use 70-20-10 model, which states that you have to start with building basic understanding of the subject through reading books or taking courses, learning how things are done in your organization by observing other people doing similar job. But the main part to build the skill is actually deliberate practice, where you have to practice the knowledge and observe what you have observed, so you can get your personal experience. Doing that, you will get new questions and you will be ready to continue your learning, taking additional courses, reading new books, asking questions to your colleagues, and then trying it out. More circles you do and faster you do, faster you will learn. My last insight, which I would like to share, is about what project management habits you have to build and tools to practice. Here are a list of what I think is important, and the most important 5 are highlighted. I would like to start that there should be no project without project charter being signed by project manager and the project sponsor. So this is a first habit which you have to develop. Whatever big or small project you initiate, always prepare project charter and get it signed. The second habit is to manage risks professionally, because risk management is your main job. If there would be no risks, you would not be hired as a project manager. Also, the higher value of risk, the higher salary you can get. Next one is that if you do project or do task, try to do it as fast as possible, because from one side, amount of risk is dependent on the amount of time which is allocated for the task or the project. I hope you remember the DICE formula or index which we were talking about in the planning part of the course, the DICE score, where D stands for duration. So faster you do, there will be less opportunities for risks materialized. It's one thing. So it's and in order to do that, you should not start too early. You should start things on time, including projects. So it's not okay to start project too early, even if you have a lot of time. Start project when it should start, not too early. Another thing which is important when we deliver project is that the value from the project comes when we complete the project. So faster you can complete the project, earlier the value can be materialized. So those are the two things, the value of the project and the risk level of the project. Next is that when you work on a project, there will be a lot of meetings and conversations. And there is a saying in project management that what is not on paper was never said. It's a golden rule, I would say. So every time, write down and share how you understood the results of those conversations, because often you will be surprised that other people maybe will not see it the same way. So you will have to renegotiate. And also, if you get into trouble, then written documents help to find the better solutions. Next, there are 3 no rules which I use. One is no guessing. This is the most important rule for me, which I explained to my project teams. So as a project manager, I do not want anyone to guess anything. It's always better to ask or to check. So if in doubt, you have to check. The next one is no surprises. So to avoid surprises, we have to proactively communicate and report. So surprises is the worst thing, because usually surprises are negative, so we would like to avoid them. And the next one is no hoping. So waiting for luck is like waiting for death. It's a Japanese proverb. So instead of waiting, we have to be acting. So no hoping, we have to prepare, plan, and act. Next one is about how we report and document things. We have to make it simple and easy for people. That's why we have to make it KISS. Keep it standard and short. So both documentation, control, and reporting has to be standard and short. Next, you always get what you inspect, not what you expect. So do not be lazy. inspect things, and when you inspect, you also show the importance of what you're checking. So what you inspect, what questions you ask, will indicate to people what is important, and they will take more effort in doing that. Next one is what you tolerate, you validate. That's especially important when you build your team and maintain the team. So you have to maintain this productive, positive climate in the team, and do not tolerate bad behavior, because as soon as you start tolerating it, it will, in the eyes of a project team, will mean that you are validating it. Next one is we have to use lean thinking or waste elimination thinking, because by eliminating waste, we can make work not only faster, easier, cheaper, but we also can reduce risk. So ideas from lean are very valuable, I would say, in project management, and agile methods and theory of constraints, critical chain project management, they all use ideas from lean. And the last one mentioned here is that we have not to forget to celebrate. As we talked previously, celebration is an important part because we work with people. Machines do not need celebration, but people need celebration. In order for people to become a winning team, they have to first to start feeling as that they are winning, and celebrations help here a lot. So do not be modest, celebrate. And another important thing, in order to be able to celebrate, you have to plan for it, you have to budget for it. So that's an important part which you have to think about when you're developing your project plan and negotiating budget for it. There are many more, but I think you can pick one or two from that list which you think are interesting, and start practicing and seeing how it helps you. Next one is about useful tools. So there are a lot of useful tools which you can use to make your project a success. I mentioned some of them here and highlighted those which I always use. So first, project charter, we have talked about it. Next one is project risk register. You can't manage risks without having a risk register. Then project stakeholder register helps a lot when you do requirements collection and you create communication plan. So knowing your stakeholders is important thing. So write it down, because it will also help you to communicate with your project team, so they also know the same things as you know. The next one is the requirements traceability matrix. It's an important in order to develop proper project scope and manage that scope, to know who needs what and for what reason, so that you can go to those people for clarification or renegotiation if it is needed. Then there is a project scope statement, one page or several pages overview what project should deliver. Next one, very important document, is a work breakdown structure, which contains decomposition of all work to be done by the project in terms of what deliveries should be produced, as well as a dictionary which describes in more detail each of the deliveries. Next one is responsibility assignment matrix, which states which delivery should be delivered by whom. Next one is a project schedule. This is a document which should state when what work should start, and how much time is allocated to do the work, what are the dependencies between different tasks, as well as how much we have in our buffers. In project buffer, feeding buffers, resource buffers, things like that. So I highly recommend to use critical chain project management to create your schedule. Then project budget, if you need one. A project communication plan helps a lot. Project progress reports, those have to be keys, keep it standard and short. And project change register, if you in order to manage scope properly, you have to have such a register, so you know what has been changed in the project and why. So those are the tools. As said, there are many and much more useful ones, but at least you can pick some of those. I recommend 5 which I highlighted, and start from there. That's it, what I wanted to present in this short presentation, my key insights when it comes to management of the projects. What I want you to do is to pause the presentation here and maybe use this template to document what you have found interesting. So maybe you want to come back and check what was written on the slide and pick up some ideas which seem to you interesting and valuable, and decide when you can try them out or share with your colleagues. Because if you don't do that, most probably you will very quickly forget, and the training will be not that useful. Thank you very much for your attention, and hope to see you again.